I'll move us on to our next speaker now, which is Caroline von Post. Caroline is a biologist and sustainable fashion expert, and she's been involved in many sustainable projects over the years, very valuable ones as well. And most recently, she's been running Stormy Poodle, which is a fascinating sustainable fashion brand which upcycles textiles used in the hotel industry and upcycles them and turns them into products, desirable products. So Caroline, if you could just come and join us. Hello.
Hi. Nice.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So you have some interesting predictions and insights to share with us.
I hope so. So here we go.
Before we get started, and maybe you'll cover this in your presentation, Caroline, but
yeah.
Stormy Poodle, the name, where does it come from?
Oh, well, actually, Stormy is an old English woman's name, and Poodle is the surname. So it's Stormy is the first name, and Poodle is the last name. And as you can see from the logo, it's not a poodle, and it's because I want to question the way you look at the world.
All right, that's a much deeper answer than I thought. I thought maybe you had an angry pet dog at some point in your life.
I don't. Okay, so I'll start then. Hi, I'd like to give you guys a quick background on Stormy Poodle and how we work with upcycling in the circular economy. And rental fashion is one aspect of the circular economy, and I will share with you my experiences with that. Stormy Poodle was founded by me in 2008 when my daughter was a baby. She was born after 2 brothers, and I was basically inundated with cute baby girl clothing, both newly produced and hand-me-downs. After a while, I discovered that I mostly used the hand-me-downs closest to her skin and put the new clothes on top of the old clothes. And so I asked myself, why do I do this? The new clothes were really pretty and soft, at least on the outside. On the inside, they were full of plastic labels and the seams felt hard to the touch. The hand-me-downs were soft on both the inside and the outside. And also, they didn't have any harmful chemicals left after all the washing they'd been through. As a biologist, I knew that the skin is our largest organ and chemicals can be absorbed directly through the skin. And a thought hit me then, why are we exposing our babies, the most precious things we have, to harmful chemicals? Since I'm not a very good seamstress, I needed to find somebody else who could help me make these clothes for kids. And I needed to find the same kind of material that was already washed. And basically in never-ending supplies as well. So my thoughts led me to hotels, because hotels are very much aware of quality. So I contacted my favorite hotel and asked them what they do with their linen once it's been worn out. And it turns out that they don't even own their own linen. It's rented from laundries. I told them about my idea and asked if I could visit them. And that's where I made one of my biggest discoveries ever. Nearly flawless sheets and towels were discarded. So I asked if I could buy this material from them, and they said yes. So now I had my source of never-ending textiles, of high quality and pre-washed. It was very important for me that the manufacturing was ethical. I didn't want anybody to have been harmed during the manufacturing. I came in touch with an organization called Livslust in Latvia. At the time, they ran a vocational school for orphans, and the school had a sewing program where this woman on the picture, Anta, she was a teacher. She brought in extra money to the school by taking on assignments from businesses outside. So now I was able to set up my company, Stormy Poodle. Stormy Poodle's business idea is to turn textile waste into premium products through upcycling in an ethical manner. We built a unique ecosystem consisting of our two main material suppliers, which are 2 laundries and 2 small-scale ethical manufacturers. Livslust today support about 100 underprivileged Latvian youths with financial aid so that they can study at the university or at high school level. And Sigtuna Hantverkshus is a social enterprise that provides work opportunities for women who lack often academic skills or the language, so they can't get an ordinary job in Sweden. Our laundry partners, Comfortan Textilia, they have very high sustainability ambitions, but today their textile waste is either shredded and often reused as rags or burned. And in between them, we're talking about 1,500 tons of discarded textiles. As you know, in the circular economy, waste is seen as a design flaw. And in the waste hierarchy, reusing materials is always better than recycling, because recycling requires inputs such as energy, chemicals, and water. Most clothes today are made up of mixed blends and are of poor quality. And when we're done with them, as you've heard, we mostly throw them in the bin. Of the old clothes that are collected, because some clothes are collected, only 1% can become new fibers. That's about as many people who can enjoy Czechia passet up north in Sweden when it's completely untouched. People are becoming more and more aware though, and this pandemic will probably wake even more people up and hopefully stop us from going back to doing business as usual. What types of fibers the clothes are made out of is very important. We work out in so-called functional clothing, often polyester, but when we wash the clothes, they emit thousands of plastic particles, tiny plastic particles which the sewage treatment plants cannot get rid of. So they end up in the sea where fish eat them, and if we eat fish, we basically end up eating our gym clothes. Reusing textiles is a very good idea, as you heard before. On the picture here, you see an adult bathrobe, and it's been made out of 5 used hotel towels, which corresponds to about 25,000 liters of water. They're made out of 100% cotton, so basically they can return to the soil when you're not where you don't want to use them anymore anyway. In the past few years, Stormy Poodle has focused more on our business-to-business part, although we still manufacture bathrobes for consumers like us, like you and me. 3 years ago, the Nordic Light Hotel in Stockholm did a total makeover. They didn't have a spa or a pool, so they didn't need a bathrobe. Instead, they asked for a one-size unisex nightshirt in Emil in Lönneberga style. So we made one out of their former duvet covers. This is the label that is found at the nape of the neck of the shirt. It says, "Nightshirt. In my past life, I was a duvet cover. Instead of being discarded, I was turned into something nice and luxurious for you to sleep in." By reusing high-quality textiles, Stormy Poodle saves water, chemicals, and energy. Feel free to wear me to breakfast. All hotels sell a good night's sleep with breakfast, but what makes the guests come back? And what makes the employees happy enough to continue working at this place? Systembolaget, another company we work with, is the state-owned company in Sweden that has a monopoly in selling liquor. And it's really a leader when it comes to sustainability. We had the privilege of making some prototypes out of their old work clothes. And Systembolaget's goal is to actually close all of their material flows by 2030. And this is what they say about reusing their textiles, which otherwise would have been burned. Even if this doesn't create a profit in the short run, it still creates valuable insights, such as everything has a price. When it's cheap for us, someone else and the planet we all share is paying the price. Now, from the beginning, I thought that I'd be providing business customers with something that they could sell in the shops. Instead, I've given them something to talk about. We provide them with a story that adds value both internally and externally. And at the same time, we hold their hand, leading them into the circular economy so that they can actually walk the talk. So why am I telling you all of this? What does this have to do with rental fashion? Well, I am a biologist, so I think it's important for you to kind of connect the clothes to nature. But today, only 9% of the world's economy is circular. And renting fashion is a part of the circular economy, as is producing fashion on demand, using timeless design, buying secondhand, and caring and repairing for the clothes that you already have. Renting fashion provides us with the possibility to test new styles and stay fashionable without having to buy the clothes. And that's a wonderful aspect. The biggest problem, as you know, with fashion today is that it's overproduced and overconsumed. And if renting fashion can contribute to less, but better, more sustainable pieces being produced, then that's great. We don't have a system in place today for renting out our bathrobes, but we wanted to test this to see if there actually was a rental market for us. Last summer, we asked our retailer in Skåne to promote a rental service. This was done in a small fishing village where the preferred clothing actually is a bathrobe. We figured that there would be quite a few tourists who didn't bring their own bathrobe, and by renting one, they would fit right in. Now, this service only lasted for a couple of weeks, so it's hard to say if it was successful or not. But the things that were difficult with it was who was going to take care of the practicalities if the retailer hadn't done that. The retailer took care of the giving it out to the customer, taking it back, washing it, and so on, and setting the price of what's it going to cost to rent a bathrobe for 1 day, 3 days, a week, or the whole summer. That was very difficult, but possibly in the future we can put our products up on Omtech's site. And I just have to say one more thing, and that's I once knew a woman. She was born in 1889, and when she died and her relatives cleaned out her house, they found a box on which it said, on a small note, it said, "String too short to use." And I think this woman saw something that no one else saw. And I believe that we all have to become much better at seeing things with new eyes. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Caroline. That was, yeah, really interesting and inspiring as well. So we are running out of time somewhat, so I'm going to quickly bring Jens onto the stage. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you very much. We'll see you for the Q&A, which will probably be after the hour now. Hopefully some people can stick around for that. But hello, Jens.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, just to introduce Jens, as I've introduced everyone else, Jens is the founder or co-founder of Omtech, which is an online marketplace for the rental fashion market.